Welcome to Minnesota Sports Talk. I'm Josh Coan.
I'm Carter Burquest.
Today we're talking about our Minnesota Vikings. The NFL season starts this week, this Sunday. We have a real live regular season Vikings game. Let's talk about season expectations. What are you expecting from your Vikings this year? They went 13-3, lost the NFC Championship game. Obviously, we know all about Case Keenum, Kirk Cousins. What do you expect from the Vikings this year?
Yeah, I'm just going to come right out and say it. And, quite honestly, I expect a Super Bowl. I think this is probably the fifth year in a row I've said that now. But I think if I didn't say that, what kind of Vikings fan would I be? And we're homers here, so we get to say what we think and what we want to happen. But in all seriousness, this is legitimately, no matter what way you slice or dice it, this is a team that is capable of winning a Super Bowl. You may not think they're going to, but no matter what, this team is capable of winning a Super Bowl. I choose to fall on the side of optimism and that it's actually going to happen. I think the addition of Kirk Cousins is going to just give us that little bit more that we needed that Case Keenum didn't necessarily give us. You have, if not the best, the second best defense in the NFL at worst that you added to. You have Kirk Cousins, you have a top wide receiver duo, you have Dalvin Cook, you have Kyle Rudolph. The one area of concern maybe would be the offensive line, but other than that, I think this team is poised and ready to win a Super Bowl finally for the state of Minnesota.
Yeah, I cannot disagree with you. I don't want to just repeat everything that you said, but I'm predicting going to the Super Bowl. I'm going to hope for a win, and I'm going to probably, if you really ask me, then yeah, I'm saying we're going to win the Super Bowl. But I think we for sure at least get there. And we can talk about, I've said that for probably 3 or 4 years now, maybe, that the Vikings have a shot at the Super Bowl, or I've predicted them or thought they were going to go. But to be honest with you, they've been legitimate contenders for the last 3 years, except for losing your starting quarterback 2 years in a row. And so you're like, okay, this year we have a stability at quarterback, and the team has only gotten better. Like, we haven't lost any big names. We've lost a couple of guys in the last few years, but none of our key guys. They've only gotten better. The defense has been together for a long time now, and they've continued to get better as a unit. Now these guys have developed and grown under who's a very good defensive coach in Mike Zimmer. It's not like, everybody just assumes you're going to get better by being in the league, but they're actually getting better because they're working with Mike Zimmer every day in practice. So this defense is getting better, and it's not hyperbole to say that they have the best defense in the NFL, because people can argue for, talk about the Jaguars or the Eagles or whoever they want to talk about, but the Vikings were number one in yards and number one scoring defense last year, and I'm pretty sure they set if not got close to setting the record for third down percentage as well on defense. So we're not talking about we're fans and they have a good defense, so we call them the best defense. They legitimately have all pro players on every level. You could argue they have the best defensive line in football. You could argue they have one of the best, at least, linebacking core. You could argue that they have the best corners and the best safeties in the NFL. On offense, there's a little more question marks with the offensive line, but we like our receivers, we like our running backs, and Kirk Cousins is absolutely an upgrade over Case Keenum. I like Case Keenum, he's a nice guy, but Kirk Cousins is an upgrade. You could argue whether he's worth as much money as he got, but he's definitely an upgrade. This team is better, and a very underrated thing from last year, the only team that beat us in the playoffs was the Eagles. They beat us because their offense put together a game plan that could stop us. Well, John DeFilippo's on our team now. So he can tell us whatever they figured out in our defense to score 38 points, he's on our team now, and he can help not only our offense score more, but he can help our defense and say, hey, this is how we were able to dissect you. So I think that's a very underrated part of this offseason that's going to give the Vikings a very big boost and a very good shot at making a Super Bowl run this year.
For sure. This is just such a different feel going into this season than I've had ever before, in that a lot of years you're just excited, full of optimism going into the year. And quite honestly, while I'm excited, while I'm filled with optimism, I'm nervous because, to be quite honest, we're going to be good. There's no question about it. Barring catastrophic injuries, we are going to be good. And this season is going to come down to 3 games in January. And that scares me because you never know what's going to happen in those 3 games. Well, I think we're good enough to win those 3 games. It's just scary. And that's the tough part and the fun part about the NFL is our season is legitimately going to come down to 3 games in January. We're going to be good. We're going to make the playoffs. I don't know if we'll win quite as many games we did last year just because 13 is tough to repeat. But I think 12 wins is very realistic. And I think the addition of Iloka as well is going to be huge and just allow the defense to do so many different things with playing 3 safeties, allows Zimmer to be as creative as he can possibly be. I don't think he's ever had a defense with as many pieces as he has now. And so this season's going to be fun. Hopefully it doesn't come down to a kick in January, US Bank Stadium, but we'll see.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, it's weird. I guess this is how maybe the Patriots feel going into the season is I'm excited about the regular season. I'm excited to see what they can do. I'm excited but I think regardless of how we do in the regular season, which I do think 12 wins is probably about right, but we're going to make the playoffs. And then it comes down to what are we going to do in the playoffs? Because the expectations are high this year, and we're looking at the playoffs now. They could win 15 games in the regular season, and as exciting as that will be, we've seen that happen as Vikings fans before. We've seen them win 15 games in the regular season and still not make it to the Super Bowl. So this team is Super Bowl or bust. I mean, not necessarily bust because they'll be back at it next year, but this is definitely the highest expectations that I've had as a Vikings fan.
For sure, it's going to be fun.
All right, let us know what you guys think. What are your expectations for the Vikings this season? Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
See ya.